any minute. And we're live on Wednesday. Oh, I gotta check the date first. February 4th. Wednesday, February 4th, 2015. This is episode 5.3. I called it Read Books, Not Titles. Just got me thinking about people like they don't look deep enough into things they hear or things they see, whether it's reading, a book, judging a book by its cover, or reading headlines and not reading articles, and then using that to somehow express opinions and to draw conclusions and to promote thought, or it's they'll listen to something like quotes. It was a discussion I had to get out of it because I didn't like where it was going, but somebody had made this comment. There's this quote that's widely attributed to Albert Einstein. It says something like, "Do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Definition of insanity." And Einstein probably never said that or even anything too close to that. But his name gets attached to it. But people freak out about that. Like rather than listen to the message, forget that if it was Einstein who said it or if it was the guy down the street. There's this idea that if you're doing the same thing over again and you're expecting different results, there's a problem with that. And Einstein did say something along the lines of, we can't expect to solve our problem. We can't expect to find solutions using the thinking that caused the problems, which is essentially, that's it's a little bit more elegant way, I think, of saying the previous statement. If you don't change your thinking, you're going to end up doing the same things over again, because that's what's driving your thinking. That's what drives your action, is your thinking. And if you don't change your thinking, you're not going to be able to ultimately change your actions. You're going to end up taking the same sorts of actions, and you're going to be looking for the same sorts of solutions that you were looking for that caused your problems to begin with. And he might have been talking, he's probably talking on a lot of different levels because he was a very philosophical person, but problems that he solved in physics, he had to take a step back and say, I got to rethink about this. I got to think about this problem differently. And then he would think about it differently, and then he would come up with new solutions. And that's where we find new solutions, is we think about things differently. So it is this, if you just keep doing the same thing over again and you expect a different result, there's a problem with that. You have to change your thinking. Sometimes we call it in recovery stinking thinking. You get trapped in this old way of thinking, which gets back to all the stuff that we talk about here, shifting your perspective. But what happens is people get so wrapped up over Einstein never said that, Einstein never said that, Einstein never said that. Who cares? Stop worrying about who said what. Take the message, and does the message resonate with you? Because the message comes from the universe. It doesn't matter if it came out of that person's mouth or that person's mouth or out of that book or this book. The message emanates from the universe somehow. It comes to you, and then does it resonate with you? If it resonates with you, then it's an important message, and you need to pay attention. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't matter who said it. Don't be taking messages and say, oh, that person said it, so it must be important. If it's facts, yes, you want facts to be sourced. If somebody's citing a fact, then where does that fact come from? But if it's ideas, opinions, thoughts, these are not facts. These are just more like thoughts about reality or something, or things to think about. But it doesn't really matter who said them. All that matters is that you heard it, you processed it, you thought about it, and you incorporated it a little bit. Okay, so that's me getting off to my short rant. You have anything for us, Dutch? Can you do you have a short rant or anything going on today, or something you want to let us know what's happening?
Yeah. Well, we've got a lot of work that we're doing, and we actually, serenely speaking, was just invited to speak at a University of Albany. So we're.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's definitely something that I'm looking forward to. We also have the show tomorrow of Arisen Strength, brought to you by Serenely Speaking, as well as the JGF organization, the Joey Giggles family. we're going to do bullying. Hopefully we get it straight. Hopefully it gets broadcasted the right way. Hopefully we're not using Google. We're going to go in a different direction. So, I think, what is it?
Spreecast.
Yeah, with Spreecast. But your three things are revision.
Performance feedback revision.
Performance feedback revision.
Learn, improve, share.
Well, we learned, we decided to improve, and we promised to share tomorrow. So I'm really looking forward to it because it's a subject that both you and I are impassioned to. We really had a good show last week that we were doing, but unfortunately we had some technical difficulties that just really didn't satisfy me as far as that subject being broadcasted. So I'm really looking forward to doing it the right way that I want to do it, and hopefully we'll have a good time, and some people can identify with what it is that we're talking about. So I'm looking forward to that. We did a lot of shooting today for a couple things that are coming up. So we're working hard, and thanks to your efforts and advice, we're going in the right direction. So I appreciate the time.
Oh, great! Definitely glad to be there. And just so you know, the videos are all uploaded and they're in the appropriate folders, and should be able to find them. I just checked before we went on the air here, and that all seemed to work out. That was a lot smoother than it's been in the past. So. That's really all I had today. Just I didn't want to get started on anything. Really, just there was this one little thing because one, I just had to get it out before I think about it too much. But it's this, but it is something that does get with me. It's related to I guess there's a kind of a companion piece to it. Is somebody will, and when I say somebody, I mean me. So we'll make a joke of some kind, like on Twitter or on certain online forums and whatnot, and make a joke, an obvious joke. At least I think it's obvious. It doesn't matter if it's an obvious joke or not. It's a joke. It's just it's meant to be funny. And then somebody comes and corrects it for technical accuracy. It's like sometimes, jokes are not technically correct. I mean, that's the whole idea of a joke, is you play with the words a little bit. You play with the phrasing, and you say something that's, it's meant to be, it's not meant to be, the truth. It's meant to be something that's fun. And, people come and they correct you. Like what? Do you have to correct jokes? I mean, do you not understand how comedy works or how funny works? Or, it's obviously, I can't even think what the examples are now, but it was just like, again, I have to, I'm much better at it nowadays, just kind of stepping back going, all right. Some people just don't get it. They don't look into, they don't think deeper than, they take too much at face value, I guess, is what I'm thinking. And when I think, not that you should look for alternative motives. I mean, you have to take some things at face value, but they take a headline and oh, that's the truth, or you're going to say, and they won't take that extra step that just kind of asks, I wonder what this means. Not what does it say, but what does it mean? Because that's ultimately what's important, is what does it mean. It's less important what it says as what it means. And when you're communicating clearly, a lot of times that's are really lined up and closely correlated, that you say what you mean and you mean what you say. But there are times where the language is a little fuzzy. It could be the person themselves is not real sure on how to express themselves. They're not real sure where you're coming from. So what can they say that you're going to understand? So sometimes what we say is it can be a little fuzzy, and you have to ask that question: is what does this mean? I know what it says because it says what it says. That's a lot easier to figure out. Things are what they are, but what do they mean? And that you have to do in your head a little bit. Then you can ask questions about that, but trying to clarify what things mean. And I think people don't ask that question. They don't ever ask what anything means. They just kind of plug in a little thing. And I know for me, I can't do that, because if I just have random stuff floating around in my head that's not connected, with meaning, it gets lost. and then it's just, it's like I never heard it before. So if I can connect it to something else that give it meaning, and it's like, yes, 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 yes. And then I don't have to remember it exactly, like whatever it is. I don't know. It's just,
I can add a little bit. It's one of those things just where you get to the point as to where when everything has to be perfect, you really lose out on the human aspect of things. And I know I do. When I'm sitting there and I'm trying to do something perfect, I don't. I kind of miss out on a lot. I miss out on the fact of the enjoyment of something and the accomplishment of something. Same thing with jokes. Jokes, they're not meant to be perfect. I mean, that's why they're called jokes. They're kind of, it's funny. It's something that, yeah, there are jokes that are out there that do require the right words and everything like that, in order to get the punchline and everything. But you know what? It's, people, what I find when people sit there and they criticize everything, they're missing out on so much more. They're missing out on a laugh with another person. I mean, that's a big thing, that you can take for granted. Laughter, just it's like, even I've had many jokes as to where screwed up totally, but was part of that experience with somebody else, and we laugh more about that than we would have the joke ever. I mean? It's like it was one of those things that sticks with us for years, as opposed to the joke that sticks with us for a week. So if I was to help somebody out, it would be be more human a little bit and not so much criticizing everything and trying to be perfect. We're not robots. We're not trying to be. I hope not. And just the human nature of enjoying each other's time and experience with one another is much more important than being perfect, than being politically correct and grammatically correct. I am purposely actually use that word because I have no idea whether it's in the dictionary or not. But you get my gist. It's like that's get the idea of what it is that's being said more than the actual words.
Yeah. And that's kind of what the title is. Read books, not titles. People get so hung up on the labels of things, and they forget that we're just using language to communicate a thought. It's the iceberg analogy. The words are the tip of the iceberg, but they pull along an entire iceberg with them. If you get too hung up on that tip of the iceberg, you're going to miss it. That's right there, for discovering. And you did remind me of something, I guess, that we could have talked about today, but maybe we'll save we definitely will save it for another time, but maybe tomorrow, about we're not robots. But the robots are coming. Artificial intelligence is coming, and excuse me, and people like Bill Gates and Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a little bit lesser known than Bill Gates. Of course, we all know Bill Gates from Microsoft, one of the richest men in the world, if not. It varies from year to year whether he's the richest man in the world. But Elon Musk is another billionaire. He's the guy who started PayPal, made his fortune there, and then but from there he's kind of. So he revolutionized the way we pay for things on the internet. Not that we all use PayPal, but it really kind of changed the way we think about using the internet for commerce. And of course with Amazon, I rolled that too. But from there he's moved on to solar power, electric cars, and space. He has the SpaceX Corporation. He has Tesla Motors, and then he sits on the board for Solar City. So he's really kind of moving in that direction, and he thinks and talks a lot about artificial intelligence, and I guess the topic with artificial intelligence that we have to worry about, I guess, is what does morality mean for artificial intelligence? How can we program artificial intelligence with some sort of, or can we? What does it mean to have a sense of a moral compass? And so that's an interesting conversation, And are humans? Are we doomed? Are we not doomed? Maybe I don't know. Are we? is our destiny just to become biological boot machines for other computers? We're this thing that turns the computers on, but that's really all. That's our entire function. We're going to get reduced to something like that. Who knows? But if the ideas persist and go on and can get generated, then maybe human DNA and stuff. This whole line of evolution now becomes irrelevant, and we have a whole new machine. So it's Star Trek, the motion picture where they have the robot. Or the Borg, or something like this. So maybe evolution is taking a different turn. What is considered evolution is moving away from maybe living organisms to sort of mechanical. Although that would be many, many years off, like thousands of years off to get to anything that efficient. But we're getting a peak. We're getting a little peak there. So that's something to think about. What does it mean for robots to have a sense of a moral compass? And should we worry about that? What should humans have to say about that? 27 likes on our Facebook page, as you can see. That's kind of been holding there for a little bit. It was 26 for a long time. Now it's holding at 27. The Twitter is the one that's the big one. It was 9:54 yesterday, and today it's 9:52. And 86 listed. So it was 89 listed at one time. So people are, I don't know, they're getting tired. They don't like the messages lately. That's possible. Because there was a time I wasn't using the account very often, and so the numbers weren't going down. And since we started doing this again, I'm using the Twitter more. And maybe people just don't like the messages as much as what I was tweeting before, which may be a little bit more obnoxious. So I think it's a lot less obnoxious now, and people want obnoxious, perhaps. But you can give us a call at our number. It's good in the U.S. and Canada. It's 15189-666-175. That's 3 to 4 during the afternoon, and 3 to 5 on weekends, and 11 to midnight, all Eastern time, every night after the show. Give us a call, 15189-666-175. And we'll be back tomorrow, and maybe we'll talk about robot morality. So that'll be something to look forward to. Good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.